The trick that helped me pay off over $90,000 is not what you think. What if I told you the key to being debt-free by the time I was 30 wasn't about budgets or side hustles? A few years ago, I was staring at over $70,000 in debt, feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and uncertain of how to get out. But would you believe me if I told you that paying it all off came down to one simple trick that anyone can do, and it is not what you expect? The secret that helped me wasn't just about cutting expenses. It was about shifting my mindset and my identity. I had to stop thinking like a person that was in debt and start thinking like a person who was financially free. You'll want to stick around for my book recommendation and for the practical tips that I'm going to give you that are going to help you start making progress today. Think of this like a little bit of a story time with simple actionable steps. And if you want all the details of my story, you can go ahead and download the ebook version of my book, The Financial Freedom Journey, 5 Steps to Decreasing Debt, Increasing Your Income, and Saving Money. And the information will be in the description. Let's dive in. Studies show that 80% of success in any field, including finance, comes down to mindset, not strategy. When I started my journey, it started in my mind. My cousin had actually gifted me this book called The Smart Money Woman, and it was written by a Nigerian woman who was, created this character about personal finance and their journey with it. And it sparked questions that forced me to get very honest in my own journey, as well as understanding what I wanted and how I could create a path to get there. And so one of the key questions that I answered that you might want to answer for yourself from the beginning of the book was about net worth. What is your net worth? And I used to think like Beyonce has one, Oprah has one, but like I've got one of those and I should pay attention to it. And so that's when I calculated my net worth for the first time. At the time, it was roughly negative $70,000. And that was a rude awakening for me because all of our things are separate. Our medical bills, our car expenses, our student loans, our credit cards are all separated. So we never get this aerial picture of what's going on in our finances. And how can you expect to find yourself at a location, quote unquote, debt freedom, financial independence, if you don't even know where you are? And so that was me figuring out like what my pin in location was at the time so that I had clarity on how to get from where I was to where I wanted to go. And so you're never going to be able to see true lasting progress in your financial journey if you always have your head in the sand for whatever reason. For me, there was a lot of stuff that I was dealing with at the time that, kept me from really focusing on my finances. But it was something as simple as an exercise as far as figuring out what my net worth was that sparked my mind to think differently about my finances and to start saying, what if I was able to get rid of this debt? What if I could finally be free of student loans or credit cards? What if I focus? What if I give my all to this journey that I'm on? And where would it land me? And that's the mindset that helped me to shift my identity from someone who maybe is like a victim, like, oh, well, why'd they give me all these student loans? This is not okay. And blaming some outward entity or organization to inward ownership and responsibility in my journey, which empowered me to be able to step into the role of like the CEO of my life, as opposed to someone else running my life or making decisions or dictating what I could do. It then became me deciding how I was going to get to where I wanted to be, or at least do an experiment to see what was possible. And so that's what sparked my journey in the beginning. This was like January 2017 that I first did this, and I was at a fork in the road. It told me, okay, when I looked at my net worth, I could keep going the way that I'm going, and what's that gonna look like? I can also try to do something different, and what would that look like? Which one feels better? For me, it felt better to entertain the possibility of getting out of debt. And it worked out. I was able to pay off all of my student loans and credit cards in 3 years before I turned 30, and that set the foundation for the rest of my life from that point on. When you shift your identity and start to see yourself as someone who manages money well, your behaviors naturally start to align. You have to go from why me to what if. For instance, once I started seeing myself as someone who was financially free, I no longer felt the urge to splurge on things that I didn't need the way that I did before. My decisions became clearer, and my ability to pay my debt off became easy. According to a study published by the National Bureau of Economic Research, individuals who identify themselves with future financial success are 10 times more likely to hit their financial goals. What does that tell you about the importance of mindset and identity when it comes to hitting your financial goals? Yes, of course, you want to be managing your money with something like a budget or a money plan. Yes, of course, you need to be saving, investing, thinking about what to do tangibly as far as the tactics when it comes to how to manage and deal with your money. However, the only way you're ever going to actually do any of those things consistently is to shift your mindset and identify with a completely different version of who you are today. So, what is your relationship with money right now? Go ahead and drop in the comments maybe one word that identifies your relationship with money now, or a phrase. And then you have to start thinking about, what do you want to replace that with? Who is the person, the version of you that manages money well, that's financially free, that has it quote unquote all figured out? Maybe not all figured out, but pretty much well, better than it is now, right? And as you begin to get clear on who that person is, who that version of you is, the more you can step into that version of yourself on a daily basis and start to see results, like the plenty of students of mine who do this work and start seeing results within 7 days of enrolling in our program. Yes, I said it. 7 days, they're starting to see significant results because they are turning into different versions of themselves. And it's really cool to see. Leads to my book recommendation. It's called The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. Think Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. Think, Black Mamba and Kobe Bryant. People can create alter egos, this character or version of themselves that they can tap into to embody characteristics that maybe in their day-to-day life they wouldn't typically. So, grab the book, start creating this version of yourself that is financially free and independent, and let it surprise you in how it transforms your life. Our brains are wired to act according to the identity we believe in. So if you identify or believe yourself to be someone who is bad with money, you're gonna unconsciously act in a way that reinforces that belief. Shifting your mindset literally rewires your brain to make different choices, ones that support your financial success. I had to stop identifying as someone who was struggling and start identifying as someone who could influence my financial future. Once I made that shift, the pathway to paying off over $90,000 became clearer every day. So like I mentioned, I read the book, I did my net worth activity, it told me where I was at on the map. From there, I had to ask myself a couple of questions. Questions like, did I have a money making issue or a money management issue? Baby, I had both in the beginning, okay? I wasn't making enough and I wasn't managing it. So I had to solve for both of those problems. The easiest one to solve was managing my money before I started making more money. So I started managing it. Even whatever little money I thought I had at the time is what I started to manage. And so sometimes we're like, well, I don't make that much, so how am I going to budget what I have? You want to manage whatever amount of money you have. If it's $1, manage it. If it's $1 million, manage it. Because what's measured can be managed. And in order to get to where you want to be, managing, supporting, collaborating with your finances is going to help you to be able to break through and get to the next level. So from about March 2017, which is when I first made a budget successfully, and successfully just means like I did it and not that it was perfect. From that point on, I was making monthly money plans with myself and applying for new jobs because I also knew I wasn't making enough money to hit my goals. So this identity shift, this mindset shift led to me problem solving in a creative, resourceful way from where I was at the moment. I was able to triple my income that year by the end of that year. And then I started making huge payments on my debts after that. I also did a whole bunch of other things, such as like sell all the stuff in my house, move in with my best friend, a whole bunch of life changes. But that was because my identity shifted and the vision that I had of myself debt free, reverse engineered, meant this is the quickest way to get to that person. And I was willing to do those things. I'm not here to say that you need to do something like that. I'm just saying you need to figure out what your pathway to financial freedom looks like. Once my mindset changed, I began to see all of the options and opportunity that was out there for me to hit my goals, as opposed to operating in scarcity and only seeing the lack and limitation that I thought or was creating for myself. Mindset creates momentum, but it's the actions you take after the mindset shift that truly make the difference. I know how powerful a mindset shift can be because it literally changed my life. If you're ready to shift your mindset and start on your journey to financial freedom, I've got something special for you. Download my complimentary ebook, The Financial Freedom Formula. Inside, I break down the exact steps you need to start transforming your financial life today. You don't have to be stuck in debt forever. Shift your mindset, take care of your finances, and watch your financial freedom become your reality. This one mindset shift completely changed my financial life, and I know it can do the same for you. Thanks for watching. I so appreciate the time and attention that you have shared with me today. Don't take it for granted. Watch this next video, wherever it is, somewhere, and I'll see you I'll see you there.